Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all for hanging with me on this Thursday. So one thing you'll find in common in all the toughest times of year to fish is the best way to approach a lake is to cover a lot of water, which that rings true most of the time, especially when you're out there looking for fish. But there's certain times of the year where covering water on the days where you really want to catch a bunch of fish isn't the best way to fish. The best way to fish is to camp on spots. Times of the year where it is important to camp, and you don't have to camp all day, but you have to at least spend periods of your day in the same general area. I think of summertime fishing, the early summertime where the fish are in big schools, pre-spawn, they're grouped up. And then there's times of the year where it's all about fishing as much real estate as you can fish. And those are going to be the toughest times. I think of post-spawn, I think of the fall, and I also think of the month of August and where we're at right now, because you don't have a lot of fish doing one thing. So you really can't focus a lot of your effort on one thing and be successful consistently throughout your day. So as the fish are now moving back shallow, they're moving back deep, they're hard to catch. You know, you have a big transition period where not only are the majority of your fish in your lake out suspended, but they're also a little bit here, a little bit there, making it just tough. There's not really one thing that really is going to stand out at you. And that's tough because when you do start getting bites, you really can't duplicate that everywhere. It's really hard to pattern fish. You just got to go and look, and search. And that's why I really like these L-shaped crankbaits like the Hybrid Hunter or the 6 cent swank, because these baits are going to catch fish on days when you have the toughest fishing conditions. So what has blown me away with this bait, and mind you, I typically throw it around grass, but I think this would work on any lake where you have a decent amount of fish, shallow, is that this bait works really good with little wind and high sun. It's a visual feeding bait for the bass, and I would have never guessed that because of how loud it is, the vibration. But you have to realize that the way this thing is in their face, it doesn't really look like anything else other than like a jerk bait, but obviously completely different profile. So this time of year when I'm covering water, I know the fish have been hit with chatterbaits. I know they've been hit with spinnerbaits, a lot of crankbaits, medium and shallow when you get in that 6 foot or less. This is one for me that I just like to put the trolling motor down and go and grind. Because a lot of days when you have clear conditions, it's really hard to catch them on top water. Now, I always have a prop bait in the month of August. I always have a popper. If I'm in some areas that have big flats or a lot of cover, you know, buzz baits and spooks for sure. But I still always like to keep the subsurface thing, at least give it a chance, because it's just one of those situations, especially in any type of stained water, that there's days where this much, when it comes to the water zone that you're in, the water column that your bait is traveling through, if it's off by this much, you're just not going to get bites. So this is one for me. I can fish it super fast. I can almost burn it back to the boat as fast as I can the entire time. And that's important because I would like to be spending most of my day covering water with top water and looking for cover and fishing with a frog and flipping and doing that this time of year. But if my lake doesn't set up that way and I got to fish a lot of open water places and I just don't see anything on top, no bait fish jumping, no fish coming up and blowing up, this is one for me that I throw a ton. So 17-pound test fluorocarbon, I throw it on a 7'6" heavy action rod, high speed reel. I need to make super long casts, and then I'm working it almost like how I work a jerk bait and a lipless crankbait. So slashing the rod, winding it, moving that bait so it darts and kicks, and before I stop turning my reel, when that slack starts to build up, that's when I'm going to pull it again. So it's basically doing this. It's all over the place. So that is something that I really like to do this time of year. It's not just lakes that have grass, also your lakes that have bushes. Any type of cover that is submerged is going to be for that bait. I really had a great summer last year on this. I really look to cover a lot of water here as we get into the month of August with this bait. And again, let's keep those colors simple. Again, I'm throwing this on sunny, clear days. So most of the time it's going to be some type of chrome, and that's about it. Maybe your translucent colors are going to work as well, but don't get too carried away. Some type of chrome, some type of translucent. Try that. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.